Hey, how you all doing? Well, it's really a privilege and honor for me to be able to be here with you today. As the introducer said, I'm a relatively new person at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and I oversee a portfolio that is called the Solutions Portfolio for Post-Secondary Success. So we are really driven and motivated to think about what are the opportunities for the next generation of workers and what kinds of educational and training experiences do they need to succeed in a new economy. So everything that has been said today, I think, is just very foundational for the perspective that we at the foundation have. And I personally have a lot of experience, 25 years in fact, in working in education and workforce development. And I'm a social entrepreneur who has been on the ground level trying to create jobs in a lot of different environments. So this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. I need to pull the clicker, sorry for that. Okay, otherwise we won't get any slides going. I wanted to share with you as a context for how I think about what we're actually trying to achieve at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We have come across economic data that says that by the year 2025, there'll be about 11 million people who are unprepared for new economy jobs. And so I think of them as being very similar to these little baby turtles who are struggling to try to get to the ocean to launch their lives. And along the way, birds swoop down and take them out, and they don't even know which direction to really head down to. They have no idea what's ahead of them when they actually hit the water, but they're just ferociously trying to get down there, and it's tough. It's really tough, as a lot of the panelists spoke about beforehand, with the fact that, you know, the safety net that we experienced, a lot of us got to experience, just doesn't exist for the majority of people today. So when they're out there struggling, we are trying to focus on helping them succeed, first and foremost, to complete college, 2-year, 4-year, whatever they need to be prepared for new economy jobs. But it's a struggle. So the majority of our portfolio right now is focused on helping them get supports that they need, which includes digital learning, developmental education, advising, financial security, meaning emergency aid or financial aid packages that work for them to be successful. But we know that even with all those interventions and investments, we'll probably help, if we're aggressively successful, about 4.5 million folks of the 11 million that I described complete college. And so there are a whole bunch of folks who, for a lot of different reasons, maybe their experiences in K-12 were just so demoralizing that they're just not going to sign up for more. Possibly folks actually need to achieve their high school degree in order to continue to participate in the workforce, or they need other kinds of trainings and supports to be ready for jobs. So we've been looking more closely at the other folks and the other kind of new models of training and skills acquisition that exist now. We can summarize them into, and see trends in several different areas, what we call last mile training or boot camps, and they can be technically oriented, or we're actually seeing this kind of come across and about in many different industries, pretty much every industry now. We're seeing really beautiful applications of employer apprenticeship programs. We're also seeing powerful intermediaries that bridge the gap between educational institutions and the employers and the jobs. And then also innovations in post-secondary funding and financing that makes a closer correlation between the learning outcomes and the jobs that they're able to acquire with those, so that people aren't paying all this financial aid back for maybe not even being able to get a job, and not having the skills that are required. So I'll speak a little bit more to those. I wanted to say before I go on that there are starting to be new thinkers who are helping us also understand and scope out what it means to work in this gig economy, in this new kind of economy. And there are a couple of books that I've really been inspired by. One by Carrie Williard, which is called Stretch, which is really about how to manage your own work environment and career in the new economy. And also The Alliance by Reid Hoffman and Chris Ye. So those are both, I think, really powerful guides towards thinking about what it means to survive and thrive. So some of the current challenges that I think you guys will appreciate here. One is that only 11% of employers today believe that undergraduates who are graduating from college have the required skills and competencies to thrive in entry-level jobs. So that's not terribly encouraging, and it doesn't speak well to the relationship between education and what employers expect. Another one is that 44% of employers indicate current employees are not keeping up with evolving skills required in their fields. So this speaks to another, I think, very powerful model that we've seen improves the educational institution, the outcomes of the students, as well as gets the jobs done for employers, which is for employers to invest in skills upgrading and additional education on behalf of their employees. This is a very, very powerful model because nothing gets people focused on completing their education like a job. When it's relevant, we also have seen a lot of studies that show that students who have paid internships or jobs that are related to their education while they're in school do better in school, complete faster, because they understand the connection and the relevance. They understand I've got to master this skill or this competency in order to produce for my job. And so it's a win-win for everybody. And I will say that now working so closely with colleges and universities, they oftentimes are intimidated by that bridge and the blend between the paid work experience, the job experience, and the educational experience. So I'm hoping that we can all together help build that bridge in a deeper, better way. So let me move on. So to give you a little bit more sense and specificity around the training programs, we see that there are a lot of technical last mile programs that have these boot camps that can be very, very specific on technical skills acquisition and training. And they range from interface design to coding to sales training, all manner of things. There are also some really new, interesting staffing company solutions that help bridge, like I said, the educational experience to an actual job. So oftentimes these staffing companies can do some final polishing or specific skills development and then act as the employer of record to make sure that people are delivering and learning on the job, and then eventually place them into permanent positions. And we're also seeing how important organizations like Year Up, which are providing these paid work experience and training programs that acculturate people, especially that kind of sometimes forgotten youth between ages of 18 and 24, 25, who need to build their social capital. They need to understand what it's like to work in different environments and how they can apply their skills. So I just wanted to point out to you some of these innovations so that you can hopefully be inspired to engage with some of them at your companies. And we at the foundation are very excited to try to help stimulate and bring these conversations together. So I hope that you'll look to the Bill and Melinda Foundation to be a partner of sorts with you guys in this endeavor. There's so many interesting creative things happening. As I alluded to also on the financial side, we've seen, for example, models like income sharing agreements, which work for traditional universities as well as new models of training programs where people rather than taking out a big loan, paying for an education, and then paying it off for years and years, they are actually paying, they're getting advanced the money to go through the training programs of the education and then paying a percentage of their salaries once they graduate. So there really is a deeper correlation between their outcomes and what they pay back. So there's a world of opportunity, I think, that exists for us, as Pam David said, especially when we look at the relationships between philanthropy, enterprise, and the social sector to come together and problem solve. So I hope you'll all join me in moving this forward and helping more of the 11 million people be successful. Thank you very much.